Okay, so let's look at entering functions using equation editor. On this video, I'm going to use keyboard shortcuts, but the process is it's pretty much similar to if you wanted to use these drop-down menus up there. It's pretty straightforward if you want to use the drop-down menus, and everything else is pretty much the same. So let's enter the quadratic equation. Thanks to Garv, who pointed out I misstated on that. So we want the quadratic formula, not the quadratic equation, quadratic formula. So the formula for finding x in the quadratic equation. You can type in x equals. That will make sure that it's complete. I didn't do that on my example, but it's more formal if you do it this way. So it's nice. You don't have to. It's definitely doesn't help you learn how to use equation editor any better, which is kind of the idea of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is enter a fraction. What I can do with that is do a backslash. That's the one above your enter key, and then the abbreviation is FRAC. So that's a fraction. And then for any of these to work, any of these shortcuts, you have to hit the space bar after you enter it. So I did backslash FRAC and then space bar. That turns that into a fraction. The cursor is blinking in the numerator. I can use the arrow keys to navigate around the equation, or I can use my mouse, so I can click in the denominator there or the numerator. So right now I want the numerator for the quadratic formula. The first thing I want is negative b. Then I want a plus or minus. Again, I could just select it from the relations bar here, but let's enter it in with the keyboard. So again, backslash PM for plus minus, space bar. The next thing is the square root. So again, backslash SQRT for square root. For subscripts and superscripts, there's two ways to do it. The first way takes a little bit longer time, but is less glitchy. So what you do is do backslash SUPER superscript, just backslash superscript space, and it doesn't look like anything's happened here, but you'll see. So we're going to type in our B, and then we do a right arrow, and that puts us in place for the superscript. So let's keep going, and then minus for AC. You can see as we're doing this, both the fraction bar and the square root bar kind of grow as we type, and that just keeps things going, and it's adjustable based on how much you type. Google Sheets at this point gets a kind of glitchy. So in the world of Google Sheets, our cursor is two places. It's underneath the radical, and it's in the numerator of the fraction. This has the potential to confuse Google Sheets a little bit when you press the arrows of it doesn't really know where you want your cursor to go next. So you can just kind of try and navigate with the arrows and see what works to get you in the denominator, or you can just take your mouse and click in the denominator, and that's what we're going to do. So over to A. So there's our quadratic formula.